guys and gals. Wanted to say welcome back to the channel. I'm going to be doing a little tank review of some of the baits that we got in the December Monster.Bass box. Also, I'm going to do a little something different that I was checking out earlier. I didn't know if it would work quite right, but anyways, we're going to do something a little bit different. I've got a drop shot set up, and I'm going to show y'all a few of these baits that I like to fish on a drop shot. I didn't know if I'd be able to show y'all in the tank because normally I like to use a long leader, but I shortened my leader up, so now you'll actually be able to see it. And so now I'm going to be able to show y'all what your bait would possibly look like on a drop shot. Some of these anyways that I do like to fish on a drop shot, so that's something to keep in mind, something a little bit different. You know, people have been asking me, you know, different ways to fish this stuff, so I thought I'd show y'all another little technique that I like to do, and like I said, it's called a drop shot. And you know, a lot of people think that on a drop shot that you're supposed to just strictly use little baits, which little baits is the way to go. But you can actually fish just about any size bait that you want to fish. It just really depends on, you know, the type of fish you're going for. So, anyways, we're going to dive into this. And first up, we're going to have the new Big Bites baits, the BFE. And so let's try that out and see how this looks in here. So anyways, this BFE was designed to be able to get into tighter places and you know, harder places to get to than you would be able to get with just a regular flipping jig. And you know, it's made to fall straight through the water and get down to where you want it to get, going in those little holes. But and I say it does a pretty good job of that. I mean, it's pretty much a straight drop down, and then it sits, and then it starts to slowly fall. So, you know, that's pretty good, especially whenever you're trying to, you know, put the bait in a one specific spot, in a small spot, you know. Just say like if you had a little spot in the lily pads and there's just, you know, a little hole between that lily pad and the next lily pad, and you can't fit a jig in there because the jig's going to kind of go back and forth. This right here is just going to fall straight down. And so yeah, it's got pretty good action. I like it. You're not going to get any crazy action off the appendages and stuff like that. But just for it waving around like that's pretty good. And I like that direct fall. You know, so you're not wondering if whenever it hits that, if it's going to glide back and forth going down. So anyways, that was the Big Bites BFE. So I'm pretty impressed with that. That was a good looking bait. Next up, we're gonna do the Rabid baits. The Rabid baits foxtail. And this has also got that what are them jig heads called that come in this thing? Anyways, whatever little jig heads that come in there, these little net heads. Okay. I like that. it stands up like it's supposed to, and them little hairs on the end of it have fanned open. I don't know if y'all can see that in the video, but they fanned open, and they're just kind of waving around in there. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. I like that. It just, I mean, the hairs are just waving around. So yeah, that's a nice look at that. Yeah, you can probably catch a lot of fish off of that. On the next warm day, I'm gonna go out and give this a shot. If that water's clear, shoot. That's nice. I like that. That's got a lot of good action to it. And like I said, every time it falls and hits the bottom, it sits there, and them little hairs, they just move all over. And I left, normally I turn the filter off on this, but I left it on to kind of create some current so we can kind of get an idea. And you can see those hairs are just kind of waving through the water. Yeah, y'all can see that. That's good. Good deal. And that jig head does what it's supposed to do, so I like that too. But yeah, that's a good looking jig. Anyways, that's the Rabid jigs, Rabid baits, and that's the fox hair jig, or foxtail jig, I should say. And so yeah, that's that. Alright, so next up I'm going to do a little drop shot, and I was going to show y'all. And these come in one of my other boxes. We're going to try this out. These are the little strobes. They're made by 10,000 Fish, and they're called the Shimmer Shed. So we're going to look at this and see how this looks in the water. Hold on a second, guys. Having to fix this. Alright, here we go. So anyways, this is on that drop shot. And you can kind of see that little strobe, man, that thing puts off a lot of action. And a lot of reflection too. So this is one of my go-to baits for drop shotting, especially if I'm sticking with the small profile. Just because, I mean, really, you give it a little bit of action off. I mean, like I said, you're not bouncing that thing up and down for the weight. Basically, you're letting that thing hit bottom, and you're leaving that weight on the bottom, and you're just basically just moving that line to get that bait to swim around and look like it's sitting there. So, anyways, you can see, I mean, that looks almost like a dying minnow. And that, whatever that stuff is that's on the inside, that reflecting tape or aluminum foil, or creates a lot of reflection, and them fish can see that. So, anyways, that's one of my go-to drop shots. And the next one is made by 10,000 Fish, and it's the same series, but it's a little bit bigger. And this one's called the Shimmer Swimmer. And this one right here is going to put off a lot of action too. And honestly, I almost like the Shimmer Swimmer better, just because it is a little bit bigger of a profile bait. And as you can see, it's easier for fish to see. And like I said, that little reflecting tape stuff that's in there does a good job of reflecting. And so if you just sand it still, it kind of still moves around. So, and like I said, all you're wanting to do is put off a little bit of action while it's sitting in the middle. You don't want that bait on the bottom, but you want it close to the bottom. And because them bigger fish are going to be in that deep water down towards the bottom, almost just to spin it off the bottom a little bit. So you want to kind of drop it in their face and just basically just kind of wiggle it around. And you can see that reflector tape does a good job of flashing. So anyways, that's another one that I like to throw. Let's see, what else we got here that we can try out. Okay, so I haven't used these. I actually just got these in that the Florida Tackle Club that we started, and these are the Gambler Go Fish. They're called the New Shad, and they're a small profile bait. So I figured we'll try these out and see what they look like. And you get 12 of these in a package, so I kind of like it too. Ow! Don't hook me. So these are kind of weird. They got like a double gap in them where you can hook them either way, either or. But I'm assuming the paddle needs to be down, so we'll try that out. Alright. So I think that creates some pretty good action too, that little tail on the end of it. I like that. That's a good looking bait. And it does a good job on the drop shot, that's for sure. And like I said, you're not moving that weight, so you're really just basically bouncing it up and down in the same spot, and you let it fall and then come back up with it. And you know, you can keep it on a tight line, and like I said, you're not wanting to really move that weight. You're just basically wanting to kind of just move the tip. Once it falls and you feel that weight hit that bottom, just kind of give yourself a little tight line and just kind of bounce it back and forth. And then whenever you're coming, slowly retrieve it towards you and basically bring it all the way back. And it's just going to be a slow presentation all the way back. Now during the summer months and stuff, you can speed it up. But you got to remember, whenever you're doing a drop shot, it's about slow presentation. That's all it's about. You're trying to take your time, bringing the lure back, giving them bass a chance to eat it. Next up, these are another one I haven't tried, and we're going to give this a shot. Are these Zero Z2 by Strike King, and these are their Elastec version, and these are baby Z2s. They look like little baby flukes, and this is in a gray glimmer purple or pearl. And I mean, these things are identical to a fluke. They're just like a baby fluke. Well, they definitely stretchy like the Elastec, so that's good. So, anyways, here's that. Wow, that thing's nice. I mean, it puts off a lot of action. I mean, it looks like a real minnow. I mean, that's for sure. And like I said, you're not moving that weight hardly at all. So it's kind of hard to do in this tank because you don't have as much line to move. But you can just imagine that sitting on bottom like that, and that little old tail. Just look at that current pushing that tail around, and flickering it around. So, man, that looks good. I like it. I might have found my new favorite little bait along that catches fish. Yeah, that looks like a real minnow dying. I like it. I have to give those a shot. So I got one more to show y'all, and this video is going to be done for today. I hope y'all enjoyed this new little technique. I mean, I know it's not new, but a lot of people don't know about it, and a lot of people don't use it because they're scared or don't understand it. And like I said, it's all on what you want to use. So next up, we're going to do these Excite Bait high floater worms that they sent us in the Monster.Bass box this month. I'm going to see what this is all about. I want to see if there's any difference. Why it's a high floater or whatever. I mean, it should be floating or something. Alright, so that's what it looks like just sitting there. So you can just imagine. And like I said, this is on a drop shot, so that's what a lot of people don't understand. You know, drop shot's not all about being just presenting a small profile. You can do it on anything. You know, as long as it looks good to the fish, they don't care. And as long as it performs right, that's a pretty good looking worm right there. I mean, so yeah, that's your Excite Baits. I don't know why they call it a high floater, because it don't seem to. Okay, so it does float a little bit, because I got it on the bottom right now, and yeah, so it should be sinking. Okay, so that's good. Huh. So anyways, that's the drop shot, y'all. Now you've kind of got an idea, and I'll show y'all my little setup. On a drop shot, you know, here's what you're going to be using. You're going to be using some kind of weight like this. Some people use the ball or the teardrop or whatever. And I've learned that these standout hooks, sorry about that, but I use these. It's a standout hook. And basically you tie your knot, run it through the loop, and then it stands it up for you. A lot of people don't like that. Some people do. But it's a lot easier than if you don't get that tag right through there right, your hook won't stand up right. So therefore your bait's dangling around it, going downward instead of sitting straight out. And that's the whole point. For it to stand out like that instead of leaning sideways. So anyways, that's my setup. I don't use anything above 10 pound whenever I'm doing a drop shot, because like I said, it's a finesse technique. So you want to go light line. I use anywhere between 6 and 10 pounds, but I don't go over 10 pounds. Now you can use some people do use a backing, like braided line, and then they'll tie off fluorocarbon for their leader and then do it that way. But you want to use that, and you want to use a little light action rod to medium, and so that's how I do it. So anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and thanks for the support again. Be sure to, if y'all like this video, to smash the thumbs up, subscribe, leave me a comment. I love reading y'all's comments. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good night.